Welcome to a run through of the AI Recruiter Toolkit in Brandscore. This is a brand new AI tool for recruiters to help them in their day-to-day recruitment activity. In this example, we're logged into our demo platform as a recruiter from Coles, so we're going to get started. The first thing that we can do is do a competition market scan. So this will look to find who else is recruiting the role that we've just received from a hiring manager, and therefore what is our competition right now. So let's imagine we've just received a vacancy for a marketing manager, and the role is in Sydney, Australia. What we can do is then upload the job description that's hopefully been provided to us, and then we do a search. Now, what this does, it goes away, usually takes a minute. In our demo, it's happened a bit quicker, but it goes away and looks at lots of different job boards, LinkedIn, career sites, to find who is actually recruiting the same role as us right now. And what we've done is a JD match. So here we've listed in priority order which jobs match ours the most. So this one is a very close match. We can see how many jobs they're currently advertising, what the work type is, whether it's working from home or whether it's hybrid. We can see whether the salary is shown. And then this section here is based on over 20 studies on what candidates actually want to see. And this comes from studies with Harvard, LinkedIn, Deloitte, and many others. So it's based on what candidates want to see. And what we're showcasing is which elements of those are these job ads hitting. We can then link out to the job ads as well. We show obviously the job title and then the keywords that those job ads are using relevant to the role that we are advertising for. So we bring back a list of those. So that first of all gives us a market scan of who's doing what right now. We then show the most common candidate priorities, so what candidates want. In this example here, because we haven't currently got a job ad advertised for this, it's saying that we don't have these priorities in our job ads or in this job ad. But what we're saying here is that we'll be able to include these in our job ad generator later on. If you currently do have a job ad, you can add this in at the top here in this search function, and it will come up with it. We don't need to add in the job description. So any old job ads or current job ads you've had, you can analyze this, and then our job ad generator will rewrite them for you based on the findings. So let's now build a job ad using our AI job ad creator. Now, our AI doesn't create just standardized job ads. What we do is actually use competitive intelligence. So we go and look at the organizations that we either want to beat their job ads or we want to attract from, and we identify hundreds of different elements to understand where could we beat them and what should we be doing to attract from them, what messaging should we use. And we do that by through our competitive intelligence, which goes out and looks at their career site, their job ads, their reviews and review sentiment, and lots of other elements to really understand the competitor. So in this example, let's select the first 3 companies that we saw were advertising for the similar role to us. And let's also select Commonwealth Bank because we're interested in people that apply to them. We'd like to potentially have them apply to us as well. You can then also say, actually, I really want to target marketing managers in certain organizations as well. So the obvious one for Coles, for those outside of Australia, Woolworths is the main competitor to Coles. Bunnings is also another big retailer that we might want to recruit from or attract people from as well. So we're going to add that in. Now we can rewrite an existing job ad. So using a job ad that we've already got out there, we can rewrite it. But in this case, we don't have one. So we're going to create from the job description, which is automatically populated from when we entered it before. And we're going to create the job ad. And this is going to really look at a number of different elements, including, what is being said by those employers out there at the moment that are recruiting for the role or we're looking to attract from. And what gaps do we want to address, and lots of other elements, including those candidate priorities, not just in the job ads, but in those target companies. So our target companies, EVP messaging, do they really match and really show what candidates want to see? And then we're going to build a job ad to beat them all. This takes a couple of minutes. So we're going to come back once that's done. So the job ad is created. And what this actually does is when it writes a job ad for you, it analyzes the tone of voice that you use in your EVP messaging on your careers website. So we ensure that there's consistency of tone of voice in your job ads and on your careers website, but also brings back key EVP messaging as well. Now, you can regenerate this, you can edit it, or simply copy it and use it as a starter for your new job ad. But what we show down here is what has changed. What have we done differently? And how have we built the job ad? And then how have we specifically targeted those companies that we want to recruit from? So what have we leveraged on that we see as a gap in those other organizations? And then why does this work? So we talk a lot about the candidate career dimensions that we addressed, the priority dimensions that we addressed. So purpose and impact is one that we see in those 10 candidate priorities: work-life balance, career growth. So how have we positioned that? And then how have we built that competition that are also advertising for the same role as us? What you can then do using the same criteria in the that we've analyzed. So we've looked at how do we beat those competitors. We can also create social media posts as well. So if we want to generate a LinkedIn post that really is a specific post to attract from those employees, but also beat those others, we can create that as well. And then if you're interested in doing some sourcing, we also can help you build a Boolean search. So again, we'll use the job description as the baseline data. And what the Boolean search does is analyze that job description to build you a couple of different search strings. So the first one is a starter string. Now, if you're using the free version of LinkedIn, you're very limited on how in-depth your strings can be. So we build that for you. But if you want a more advanced string, you can do that. So this could be used in LinkedIn Recruiter, your ATS, or any other candidate databases that you might be using or have access to. But you can actually refine that as well. So if you said, actually, I want to add in digital, I want to remove lead, for example, in the role type or the seniority. I don't want to have agency in there, so we can add that. We might say, look, we want to also have analytics as a skill in there as well. And what that does is changes the advanced string because we're limited on the starter string to include those elements as well. And you can copy and paste them. So if we just copy that and let's just pop over to LinkedIn, we'll pop that starter stringing. And what we can see here is a list of all of the candidates that potentially match that. We can then use the Sydney location filter on LinkedIn as well. So you can use this for the free version of LinkedIn as well. Also, if you wanted to, you could also add in specific competitors as well. So again, if you wanted to target those in Woolworths, you could do that. That will automatically go into the search string as well. So you can edit these, play around with them, remove. If you wanted to remove agency here, you can simply do that or just deselect it below. So once you've found a candidate on LinkedIn or your database, your ATS, your talent pool, wherever it might be, we can then help you build bespoke outreach scripts, outreach messages targeted to that specific company that the candidate works for. So let's, for example, say we found a candidate from a marketing manager from Amazon that we're interested in approaching. So we add Amazon in here, and then what our system does, what AI does, is goes out, looks and builds a competitive intelligence uh, profile on Amazon versus us as the employer, and creates bespoke outreach messages to help you really create targeted messaging for those candidates. So this can take a couple of minutes to do, so we'll come back once that's done. So the outreach scripts have been created for targeting a candidate at Amazon that we found on whichever platform we're using. It creates an initial LinkedIn connection request, explains why this works. So here we've put, hey, we've been following your marketing work at Amazon. Whilst Amazon is known for its autonomy, Coles is currently focusing on a difference-making culture where brand impact is tangible for millions of Aussies daily. We explain why that works. We then have LinkedIn in-mails that can be used and follow-up messages. These can also be used in your from your talent pool and for candidates you find in your database. We have a brand new outreach, a cold outreach to a candidate that hasn't engaged with us before, a warm follow-up, and some key messaging angles that we can leverage on, but also any timely references that we pull back about that particular employer. So these can be written for multiple different employers for candidates that you want to approach. Then we move on to the interview talking points. So this is when a candidate's come into your process and a hiring manager is about to interview them. What we want to do is be able to give those interviewers competitive intelligence information and talking points to really position why they should join us from that particular company that we have targeted or they're coming from. So in this example, we use Amazon again. So we're going to create some interview talking points. And what this is going to do is look at how do we compare to Amazon, looking at the competitive intelligence we have on them. So that could be looking at negative review sentiment in Glassdoor versus positive on our side. It could be a number of different elements that it brings back. So this takes a couple of minutes to generate. We'll come back. Oh no, it's already done. There we go. Um, so these are points that you can send to your hiring managers to help them really position our organization and the role. So we look at the review sentiment comparison. We look at we've reviewed their careers site and their employer branding messaging. So what are the gaps that we can leverage on? So Amazon's messaging is highly corporate and principle driven. Cole's messaging is more emotive and community driven, focusing on the immediate impact on Australian households. So what are the opening hooks that we could use as a hiring manager, as an interviewer? What are the potential pain points that we could exploit that we see from the competitive intelligence of Amazon? So at Coles, we value impact over paperwork. So proof of productivity is one that we've seen is a potential weakness within that competing employer. It could be around workload that's come back, workload intensity that's come back as a potential issue that is being projected in review sentiments on Glassdoor, for example. So we talk about workload intensity versus team support. We look at the strength highlights, and we provide the evidence around that as well. Some objection handlers. So if they say, yeah, but Amazon gives me immense autonomy to innovate with AI, this is what our response could be. If they say compensation and career growth, Amazon It's really good. It's really hard to leave. This is what we could say. We then bring back also some industry insights and timely references that we've identified around that employer, and also a closing pitch as well. So this is providing hiring managers in-depth competitive analysis, backed by evidence, to help them really position us as the right employer for this candidate. Then the final thing you can do is download a report for the hiring manager as well. So this gives a overall summary of what we've built and what we've done. So it's a really nice report to be able to send to a hiring manager to say, hey, yep, we've got your vacancy, and this is what we have done so far. This is what the market is doing at the moment. These are what these competitors are emphasizing. This is what our generated ad includes. We've created some interview talking points here. So it's a nice summary for the hiring manager to use, and also positions you as a real market expert in your recruiting. So this AI tool really takes recruiting to that next level. It provides incredible data and insights for hiring managers, but also makes sure that you're creating awesome content, awesome job ads that are really going to talk to your target audience. Thanks for listening.